to the Private Record. Thank you for being here. I love you so much. I love you so much. I could not love you more. I love you so much. You know what else I love so much? The story you're about to hear. Our guest, Hayley, has... You know what? Hayley's story is short and sweet, and I'm going to keep this short and sweet. Hayley's story is fucking absolutely crazy about a fucking absolutely crazy person. The mind of this person, Hayley calls her Becky, and I so wish Becky, which is a fake name, hears this and says, you know what? I'm willing to come on and talk to Matt. I'm willing to go on the Private Record and talk to Matt about why I did this. Because Hayley's story about Becky will make your head spin and wonder what the hell was driving Becky psychologically. She planted clues, Gone Girl style, as Hayley put it, making Hayley, who was her college roommate at the time, think she had cancer, terminal cancer. Did shit like shave her head. I don't want to give any more away, but it's crazy. I'm going to let it go from there. Thank you for watching. If you want to be a guest on the show, go to theprivaterecord.com and submit yourself and your story to be on the show. Follow us on socials at The Private Record, TikTok, Instagram, you know what's up. Please, oh, please, oh, please, oh, please subscribe to our channel on YouTube at The Private Record. Like the video, comment on the video, and please share with your friends. It would mean a lot to us. It would mean a lot to me. I would love you even more than I already do if you did so. Thank you all so much. As you know, I love you. I'll see you soon. Hayley, welcome to the Private Record. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. I know a little bit about your story. I'm excited to learn the whole thing. But before we get into it, why don't you introduce yourself and give us like the headline of your story, if you would be so kind.
Okay, I am Hayley, and in my junior year of college, my roommate faked having cancer.
That sounds so crazy. Okay, I can't wait to hear this. Okay, let's go. Let's get right into it. Start wherever you want, however you want. Let's do it.
Okay. So just like a little bbit of background. I mean, I think like every system, college roommate, it's always a coincidence who you're going to end up with. But
totally.
My instance, the college, there were even more coincidences that had to line up. The university I was at actually like ran out of normal undergrad housing. And since I was a transfer student, I had bottom priority. So I was put in a dorm that I would never have been in, a graduate level dorm that was more like an apartment with separate rooms.
Okay.
So that's pretty weird. Then those graduate level dorms were supposed to be only one person in them, but because they had such a shortage, they had to make an exception, and I had to have a roommate. So there was like a coincidence. Wow. But no, I got the email about my roommate. I'm going to call her Becky.
Okay.
And
Becky.
Becky. Becky seemed really great. We actually were majoring we had the same major. We had a class together. And the thing that I remember from her initial email that I was excited about is she talked about coming from out of state and kind of starting over as far as Friends. And it really hit me that she talked about how much she loved the TV show Friends, and that she really wanted like a Friends type group was her goal. I just kind of carried on, and that just kind of stuck out because I was wanting kind of similar, not maybe to that extreme, but I was hoping for that as well as a transfer student.
Yeah.
So we move in, everything seems fine. She kind of let me know at the beginning that she wasn't really on speaking terms with her family. It was family friends that moved her in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I didn't cry. I didn't think anything. The first couple weeks were fine. I actually the college that I went to was not that far from my hometown. I actually went home every weekend to keep a part-time job.
Oh,
so
cool.
Yeah, and I so really I would see her Monday after class to Friday afternoon. My mom actually worked at the college that I went to, so I would drive in with her on Monday and then drive out with my dad, who worked nearby, Friday afternoon. And that's just more kind of background information. Yeah. And the first kind of everything seemed normal the first few weeks. And the first kind of strange occurrence was I came, and it's not even that strange. It was just looking back. I came one Monday and I saw that she had dyed her hair. She had super blonde hair and she dyed it almost black. And
Whoa.
yeah, just I was like, oh, I like like the hair. And she, Becky was like, oh, thank you. I just, I thought college, maybe reinvent myself a little bit, try
Yeah.
something. I'm like, okay, it's really cool. And everything was fine for the next couple weeks. Came back from a longer weekend, like kind of a fall break, and another major change, but she had shaved her head this time.
Oh, that's very different.
Yeah,
So she
completely
goes
shaved her
from
head.
blonde to jet
Uh-huh.
black to no
Mhm.
hair.
Yep.
Wow. Okay.
And I think she saw I was a little stunned, and she mentioned that a high school teacher that she had still been really close to, that was really impactful on her, had been diagnosed with cancer, and she wanted to do something to show her support.
Wow.
Uh,
What? Okay.
I thought that was really cool,
That is
and
cool. If it was true, that is very cool. Yeah, totally.
it's true. It was
Yeah.
really cool. Um, Over the next couple weeks, so into about the beginning of November, I start noticing just really like strange little things. I found pamphlets for a local cancer treatment center in the trash, but it was in the trash with other trash piled on top in such a way that I could only see where it said like cancer treatment center at the top. Um,
Whoa. I mean, just because we know a bit about the end as we're going, like in your mind now, looking back, I'm assuming it was placed in a way where you could see it and see clearly that it was a cancer thing, looking like it was stuffed under something. Is that right?
yeah,
Oh, wow. She's
I think
smart.
yeah, when I describe this, when I tell the story to people, I say like she never came out and said I have cancer. It was like Gone Girl esque clues planted in
Oh,
our apartment.
I
So
love that. I love that.
there was that. So there was the cancer treatment pamphlets. There was like she had a bandage on her chest where like a chemo port would be, and I just saw like a little bit of it when she was wearing like a button up shirt one day. Um, she Again, we had separate rooms in our apartment, and I would be in like our bedroom studying and she would be in the living room, and I would hear her having conversations where it was obvious like she was trying to be quiet, but it was just loud enough that I could catch some of it.
Oh, wow.
About like health insurance deductibles and what was going to be covered and what wasn't. There were even a few times where I would hear her like order an Uber,
Mhm.
and then she would come in and tell me, "Oh, I'm going to go. One of my friends invited me to, get dinner and study." And then she would come back hours later with a hospital bracelet on. Still have no idea. I don't know where she got that. So it was things like that. And throughout all of this, I told my mom everything and what
Yeah.
was happening. 20 years old. I'm like, I don't know what to do here. And we were concerned. And my mom said, well, why don't you just kind of, no pressure, but just kind of let her know, like, hey, if there's anything going on, I'm here
Mhm.
to support you, anything like that. And I did. And Becky would be very appreciative and just say, oh my gosh, that's so sweet. If there's anything, I'm good. But if you have anything going on too, let me know. Um,
Wow. That's
yeah,
so psychologically fascinating.
I know. And we were even worried. I mean, my mom was really worried as an adult. Like, is she going through this alone? We know that
Right.
she's in terms with her family. How is she handling this as, like a 20-year-old coming from out of state, dealing with
Yeah.
all. Um, and I kind of didn't really know what else to do. So I just, kept on through the semester, being as supportive as I could, trying
Mhm.
to see something. But I mean, if she's not going to tell me, she's not going to tell me.
Yeah.
Um, Then I remember the weekend before our final exams for the semester, I didn't go home to work. I just stayed just so I could study. And she had the idea. She's like, "Oh, let's hang out and let's order pizza. We've got a couple of similar classes. Let's just, stay in and study." And we
Mhm.
did. And she was like very high energy, very great. Even mentioned like, oh, another friend and I want to get an off campus apartment next year. We'd love for you to join and be a third person. It'd
Mhm.
be so much fun. And so it made me feel really hopeful that, okay, whatever she's gone through, maybe it's coming to an end. She's got a handle on it. Things are going to be good. We go through. final exams. I get my stuff to go home for winter break. And the apartments we were in were a little bit strange because they were geared for graduate students. Most of the students were on like a 12-month contract where they could stay the whole time.
Okay.
But that winter, they were like cleaning the carpets, doing some repairs. So we had to leave. And she had talked about going on a cruise or some kind of vacation. So I knew she was going to be gone. This was going to be the last chance that I could talk to her. And when I went in after my last exam to get my suitcase and pack stuff up, she was very, very erratic, very strange, like darting around the apartment. I was trying to talk to her while I was packing, and she just kind of would space out and then go like, "Oh, yeah, whatever you say. Yeah, me too," or just strange things. So I finally just said, "Well, I hope you have a good Christmas, and I'll see you in January." And she said, "Yeah, I'll see you in January. Sounds good." And that was the last time I ever saw or spoke to her again.
Whoa.
Yeah. So a couple weeks passed, and right before Christmas, I got a call from our university housing department, which I thought was strange. And they started with just some kind of small talk chatter, and then asked me if I had talked to Becky lately. And I told them, no, not since the last day of the semester. And they said, okay, well, we're trying to get in contact with her, and she's not picking up our calls. She's not responding to emails. So if she reaches out to you, can you let us know? Which I thought was kind of a little bit strange.
And they didn't explain why they're saying that at all, right?
No explanation. Just, we're trying to get in touch. Let us know if she contacts you. And so I say, okay. And then I kind of talked to my mom, and my mom said, well, they didn't say anything about you reaching out, and clearly they want her to respond. So why don't you just send her a text, just letting her know what's going on? Mm-hmm. So I sent her a text message just saying, hey, hope everything's going great. Got a call from the housing department. Not sure if, you're on vacation, your phone's not working, or, you're not getting the calls, but just wanted to pass that on. And weird detail to remember, but the message showed as, we both had iPhones, but it showed as green instead of the blue message, and it showed as undeliverable. Mm. But again, I'm like, okay, well, I did my part. I don't know what else to do here. So we go on until after Christmas, about a week or so, maybe like a week and a half before the semester is set to start. And I get another call from the University of Housing Department, this time saying, hey, just wanted to let you know, Becky is not going to be returning. Mm. We'll get you we'll get, your room mate situated, but we are actually packing her stuff for her. And the woman who called me said, would you like to FaceTime so I know what's yours and what's not yours, so I don't accidentally pack anything of yours? And, I talked with my mom for a second, and I said, my mom, since she works at the university, she's got to go in a week early to set up. I'll just go with her. Sorry. I'll just go with her. And instead of FaceTiming, I'll just move all of my stuff to one side and mark it. Mm-hmm. And the woman was quiet for a minute. And then she said, that's totally fine. I don't know what state you left the apartment in, so I'm going to send you some pictures just so you know what you're walking into.
Oh.
And she sent me the pictures, and I actually still have one or two of them. And the apartment was trashed. Something looks like a tornado had gone through the apartment.
Why would she why so many of these things? You know what I mean? What?
I have no idea. And the weird thing about that too is, even looking in the pictures, she didn't touch any of my stuff. All of my stuff, again, the carpets were being cleaned, so we had to take things off the ground and put them on beds. And all of my boxes were perfectly on the bed where I had left them. But stuff that she had put on the walls was ripped off. Her clothes were everywhere. I could even see in the pictures there were a ton of empty alcohol bottles everywhere. Pages of a notebook were just ripped out and thrown all over the floor. So I was completely shocked, but now I knew better than walking in on that. So we go to the apartment. We immediately go to the local CVS and get gloves and Lysol, because in addition to everything I just mentioned, there's also jars of moldy food. And she had not left. What we kind of gathered, she had not left, and she had somehow been hiding out in the apartment over Christmas break.
And yet she had the wherewithal to give complete respect to your things and not fuck with your stuff at all.
Which is the odd, which is still odd to me that she showed me that respect at least.
Yeah.
And so we start kind of going through everything, also just trying, like, this is not the university housing department's job. So we kind of started trying to throw away what we could and organize everything. And as we did, we found all of the notebook paper. A lot of it was outlining, like, for treatment options. It was these really, really detailed notes about the supposed type of cancer she had and what her options were. And the biggest one we found was one that was titled "My Fucking Cancer," and it was her options. And it made it seem like her cancer was terminal. And her options, the biggest two options included either emptying her bank account, going to Mexico, and hanging out on a beach until she passed away, or, and I don't know, trigger warning, what, killing herself. So at this point, we got really, really worried because this has gone from, like, being mildly irritated to really frustrated at the state of the apartment to now we're, like, deeply concerned about her.
Totally. I mean, this is like this. I mean, this is used as an expression colloquially, but this is literal life and death stuff right now.
Yeah. And it was kind of, we were joking around, and then when we saw that, when we started reading it, I mean, I just remember, like, we both kind of got quiet and we were like, oh my gosh, what has happened? Do you think that this girl is even still alive now? Let alone, like, is she, is she just transferring to another school? Is she alive? And they got everything cleaned up. We kind of tried to move on. Initially had just thought, I don't know that we're ever going to get an answer to this, but not too long after that, my mom decided, you know what, I'm just going to send a condolence message to the family friend that we met and just say, and so she just sent a message that just said essentially, hey, we're not sure what happened. You don't need to explain anything, but we just want you to know that, your family is in our thoughts and prayers with whatever had happened. And the family friend messaged my mom back and said, why don't you give me your phone number and I'll call you and we'll talk all this through.
Here we go. Here we go.
And it's the simple version. My mom called me right after, and I will always remember it. She was, like, on her way home, and I was sitting in my dorm room with a still odd but much less odd second roommate. And my mom said, she just goes, "Oh my gosh, Becky faked the whole thing," and this is not the first time she's faked anything like this.
Oh.
And so this is I didn't hear this firsthand, so this is secondhand, but allegedly she had faked that her family was abusing her to get out and get this family friend to take her in and help her out.
Oh my God. Okay. Holy shit. Whoa.
So yeah, so at this point it's totally crazy. And when my mom said, why would she do this? The family friend just said, the only thing that we can guess is she got bored and she wanted to see if she could get away with it.
Oh, that's scary. That's like real scary shit. Yeah.
Yeah, and then so really then it was kind of funny. Maybe like the next year, I was working late on a project with on something with a bunch of other students, and we were chatting. We were talking about horrible roommates, and one great thing about it is I'm like, I can win this hands down. I can always win this contest. And one of the girls turns around and goes, "Oh my gosh, you're Becky's roommate?" And I said, "Yeah, why?" And she goes, because Becky was a double major and everybody in the second major, she goes, "We've been trying to look for you because we knew from our perspective what was happening, but we didn't live with her and we wanted to know what it was like living with her." So we talked about it, and I found out that she shaved her head. Obviously, the high school teacher was a lie. The really horrible, really, really, like, horribly psychologically cruel part of this is one of the other teachers at the college, his wife had just passed away from cancer, and he, like, took Becky under his wing and was, like, really, again, this is alleged. This is what the other student was telling me, but, like, allegedly really kind of like counseling her a little bit. So he was kind of devastated, really devastated.
Wow, this is like, I mean, I'm so curious about people who do shit like this because there's no reason to be doing it except whatever is the reason deep inside their mind that they have decided to do it. You know, like there's no external reason whatsoever.
Yeah, and that is kind of, again, yeah, I mean, there wasn't an external reason other than she just wanted to see if she could convince people, and she was very successful at it. I wish I knew, and the family friend didn't tell us, didn't really divulge too much in terms of how this came about. I don't know if she saw them and that she couldn't lie to them about shaving her head and faking having cancer or what. That's what I would love to know. But the great thing about this is, like I said, I win every horrible roommate contest ever.
I mean, I bet you do. One thing I want to say to Becky, if you're watching, you were wondering, could you do it? You were thinking, can I do this? Can I pull this off? Let me tell you, yeah, you pulled that off. You did a fucking good job. That's crazy. I mean, planting the pamphlets underneath other trash, shaving your head and being like, no, 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 I'm fine. The hospital bracelet, that is pretty epic, that part. Because it's like you had to get that shit.
Yeah, I don't know how. Or again, just thinking back, like, oh my gosh, the staged conversation she was having in the other room, like the attention to detail was honestly. Sometimes I do just sit there and I just, even now it'll just hit me, and I'll just be impressed with the level of detail that she went.
Totally. And also the notebook thing that she had at some point, who knows if she wrote it all down and then immediately ripped it up and threw it all around. But like either way, there's a level of thinking down the road and knowing how other people will react, and then knowing to a degree at least what they'll say when they approach you, and then having a planned response to that far down the line moment when they do approach you. It's like so many levels. What the fuck, in a certain way, in a certain from a certain perspective, Becky is brilliant. And if you just she just applied her mind in another way, that could be a very, very useful mind.
Or even just what hits me is like the thing with the notebook paper. It's like she wasn't even going to be there to see people's reactions, and she still kept it up.
Yeah, you know, that's such a good point. Actually, it's not even about getting the react. Like usually, the payoff for people who lie about things is to get the reaction or even the material gain, whatever it is. But she's not after any of that. She just wants to get the idea in people's heads and have it be planted and remain there. And that's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's almost like extra disturbing because she's not getting anything out of it. It's like when you're dealing with someone who's not after money or power or anything like that. Even she's not even after sympathy per se. She's just doing it to see if she could do it. There's something both extra twisted about that, but also impressive. I'm not going to lie. There's something legitimately impressive about that because again, it fucks with people's minds and emotions and manipulates them. But because she's not stealing, she's not gaining, she's not fucking with anybody where it really hurts. It's like you can look at it from a certain perspective and think, wow, I'm just plain old impressed. You know what I mean?
And at the time, it was so crazy. And you're right. If she had wanted sympathy, I wouldn't have had any reason to think she was lying if she had just told me she had been diagnosed with cancer. So it wasn't even. It really was just boredom and just how far can she take this? And yeah, you're right. If her question was, "Can I get away with it?" Absolutely.
Yeah. Wow. What an interesting human. People are so fucking interesting. It takes all kinds. I mean, wow. That's. I might end up thinking about this like the entire rest of the month. This is so wild to me because it's not a con man, con woman, con person story. Because again, there's no con, there's no gain. There's just having people believe a thing and then bye. She doesn't even care if she sees the people again in her life. How interesting! Wow, what a fucking cool story. Well, if you ever get more details from Becky or hear anything else, not that you will, something tells me she's like Kaiser Sose. What's the thing? It's like, and then she's gone. Like, this is fucking, nobody's ever going to hear from her again. But if you do, definitely let us know because I would love to have a circle back and get more info. But I kind of like the idea that she's like this mysterious figure out in the world. Nobody knows where she's going to turn up next and what she's going to lie about this time. But yeah. Oh yeah, the pictures that you said you have of the room and all that, if you're willing to, if you'd be comfortable doing it, if you could please send that to us, I would love to be able to put that in the episode.
Yeah, let me double check. Like I said, I only have 2 left ones that actually we took, and I even looked in my searched my email to see if I had the one the university sent me, and I don't. I just have one that kind of shows the room, and then I have one that shows like the note that she wrote.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, like I said, if you're willing to share that, we would love to see it. But that's up to you. Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah. Well,
thank you. Thank you, Hayley. I love the short but sweet ones. These are cool. We'll let you know when the episode's going to air.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Hayley.
Look.